America's streets hum with chrome and fins, but something wicked is brewing in the Pontiac division of General Motors. Engineers have just slipped a big 389 cubic inch V8 into a mid-size Tempest body. Suddenly, a family car becomes a street weapon. The name? GTO. 3 letters that lit a fire under Detroit. But behind the glory are secrets, scandals, and strange details you never heard. We're about to dive into 20 weird facts about the Pontiac GTO. And wait till you hear why number 1 almost never made it to production. The Pontiac GTO wasn't just another car. It was the shot heard round Detroit, often credited as the birth of the muscle car era. It broke rules, rewrote marketing, and rewired American culture. And today, we're peeling back the hood with 20 strange, shocking facts. Buckle up, hit that like button, and subscribe for more muscle car secrets. Number 20. The illegal car that wasn't supposed to exist. The GTO was never meant to happen. GM policy in the early 1960s banned engines larger than 330 cubic inches in mid-size cars. But Pontiac's John DeLorean found a loophole. He offered the 389 V8 as part of an option package, not a standalone model. By slipping it past corporate rulemakers, the GTO was technically legal, though many called it a corporate rebellion on wheels. Collectors today prize early 64 models because they represent this rule-breaking origin. Look for the original engine codes stamped on the block, true evidence of Pontiac's quiet defiance. And if you think corporate tricks are wild, wait till number 18 when Hollywood makes its own GTO cameo. Number 19, the Ferrari connection, by name only. GTO wasn't a Pontiac invention. Ferrari had already stamped those 3 letters on its legendary 250 GTO race cars. In Italian, Gran Turismo Omologato meant a homologated Grand Tourer, a car built for road and race. Pontiac borrowed it outright, without permission. Ferrari's Enzo reportedly fumed but never sued. The result? Pontiac created a street legend piggybacking on European prestige. For collectors, early ads and brochures highlighting the GTO name are worth a fortune, since they reveal Pontiac's daring brand theft. But there's a twist. Number 16 shows how insurance companies use that same name against muscle cars. Number 18. The Monkey Mobile, GTO. Yes, the TV show. The Monkees featured a wild, customized GTO built by George Barris, the king of Hollywood car mods. Known as the Monkey Mobile, it had exaggerated tail fins, a split windshield, and a convertible top stretched into a cartoonish parade float. Pontiac approved it because the exposure was priceless. For fans, the Monkey Mobile cemented the GTO as pop culture, not just horsepower. Spotters tip, replicas often miss the dual split windshield, making originals easy to spot. And if you think TV fame was wild, wait until you see which GTOs the cops got their hands on in number 14. Number 17. Hidden switch. The rally gauge trick. In 1967, Pontiac offered rally gauges with a hidden switch option. Inside the dash, some owners found a factory-installed toggle that could switch from a clock to a tachometer. Weird, right? This wasn't advertised but appeared on certain builds from the Pontiac plant in Pontiac, Michigan. Enthusiasts say it was a cost-saving assembly trick, but collectors love it because it screams factory oddity. Cars with intact toggle clusters fetch higher bids today. And here's the kicker. Number 12 reveals an even stranger factory oddball that collectors hunt like buried treasure. Number 16. Insurance companies declare war. By 1969, the GTO had become so notorious that insurance companies targeted it with sky-high premiums. Some agencies even listed the GTO name itself as a surcharge, regardless of the actual engine. That meant a base 350-powered GTO could cost more to insure than a Corvette. Pontiac tried disguising some cars with mild-sounding options, but the stigma stuck. For today's buyers, paperwork is key. An original policy showing inflated rates can actually boost provenance. But there's a twist. Number 11 shows how Pontiac used secret packages to fight back. Number 15. The Judge. A joke that became iconic. The Judge started as an inside joke. Pontiac marketing man Jim Wangers borrowed the phrase from the TV show Laugh-In. Here comes the Judge. The idea was to launch a cheap, stripped-down GTO to fight Plymouth's Roadrunner. Instead, the Judge became a flamboyant, high-priced muscle car with wild graphics and the Ram Air 3 engine. Irony at its finest. Collectors know carousel red was the signature color, but some judges slipped out in ultra-rare hues like Orbit Orange. Spot one, and you've found gold. And if that's not colorful enough, number 13 reveals a paint trick nobody talks about. Number 14, police cruisers in disguise. Here's something you don't expect. A handful of GTOs were reportedly delivered to law enforcement agencies in the late 60s. These weren't pursuit cars, but undercover units, blending muscle car speed with plain Jane looks. Allegedly, some even carried hidden radios in glove boxes. While documentation is thin, auction houses have sold ex-police GTOs with special fleet codes. For collectors, fleet build sheets are holy grails since they prove these strange law enforcement crossovers. And that's not all. Number 10 uncovers an even stranger fleet twist tied to the government. Number 13. The color that wasn't in the brochure. In 1969, Pontiac quietly offered a paint color called Palladium Silver that never appeared in the main GTO brochures. It was technically a Firebird color, but a few buyers knew the trick, special order it by code. Dealers sometimes resisted, claiming it wasn't possible, but factory records prove otherwise. Today, spotting a factory Palladium Silver judge is like finding a four-leaf clover under a hood ornament. The kicker? Collectors pay. Premiums for build sheets confirming the oddball code because most silver GTOs people see are repaints. And if you think secret paint was cool, wait until number 9 reveals Pontiac's wildest experiment with decals. Number 12. The Ram Air V. That almost happened. Imagine a factory GTO with a tunnel port, V8 so radical it rivaled NASCAR engines. That was the Ram Air V project of 1969. Pontiac engineers built prototypes with 400 and even 303 cubic-inch tunnel port heads designed for Trans Am racing. A few test GTOs ran this setup, but GM pulled the plug before mass production. Why? Insurance crackdowns and emissions rules made it too risky. Surviving Ram Air V engines are unicorns. Some slipped into dealer hands and wound up in drag cars. Spotter's tip, casting numbers on Ram Air V heads, 9796394. Confirm authenticity, making them insanely collectible. And that's when things get weird. Because number 8 shows how Pontiac beat racing bans by bending rules. Number 11. The XS code. Mystery engine buried in Pontiac's 1967 order sheets was a strange engine code. XS. It referred to a Ram Air 400 with unique parts, different heads, hotter cam, and free flow manifolds. Only a few dozen were built, mostly as test beds. For years, even experts debated whether XS cars truly left the factory. Documentation has since surfaced confirming they did, though often as internal evaluation cars. Collectors now hunt for VINs tied to XS blocks, which command eye-watering prices. Here's the kicker: Pontiac may have used XS-coded cars as stealth test mules for racing development, sidestepping corporate restrictions. And if you think factory secrets are strange, number 7 ties the GTO to a government program you won't believe. Number 10. Uncle Sam's GTOs. During the late 1960s, the U.S. government quietly ordered a batch of GTOs for evaluation purposes. Some historians suggest they were tested by the Department of Transportation during early safety experiments, while others claim they were evaluated as pursuit interceptors. Records are murky, but a handful of stripped-down, plain-color GTOs with unusual fleet codes have surfaced at auctions. These cars often lacked luxury trim and were fitted with oddball instrumentation, suggesting testing use, not showroom flash. For collectors, government fleet paperwork is the ultimate bragging right. Here's the twist. One rumored GTO even had prototype airbags fitted years before they became standard. But even more shocking, number 6 shows how Pontiac marketing nearly blew up the GTO's reputation. Number 9. The decal disaster of 1971. By 1971, Pontiac tried to reignite GTO buzz with flashy decal packages. Problem was, they peeled off. The vinyl graphics used on some Judge models cracked under sunlight, leaving cars looking shabby within a year. Dealers were flooded with complaints, and many quietly replaced graphics at no cost. Today, original factory-applied decals are almost non-existent, making cars with genuine untouched graphics both rare and fragile. Collectors often pay top dollar for survivor cars with cracked but original vinyl because it proves authenticity. And if you thought decals were embarrassing, wait until you hear about the marketing slogan Pontiac almost ran in number 5. Number 8. Racing by proxy, the dealer games. When GM banned official racing in 1963, Pontiac had a problem: how to keep the GTO's street cred alive? The solution: let dealers handle it. Pontiac performance guru Jim Wangers funneled parts and support through dealers like Royal Pontiac in Michigan. These shops prepped dragstrip GTOs with headers, slicks, and tuning tweaks that technically weren't factory, but had Pontiac's blessing. Customers could buy a Royal Bobcat GTO and drive straight to the winner's circle. Collectors today treasure dealer-modified paperwork, often more valuable than the car itself. And here's the kicker. Number 4 uncovers a story where Pontiac almost branded the GTO with a completely different name. Number 7. The GTO that became a Firebird. Almost by 1972, Pontiac debated moving the GTO nameplate off the Le Mans body and onto the smaller Firebird platform. Early sketches show a Firebird GTO with hood scoops and Judge-style striping. But GM brass killed the idea, fearing it would confuse buyers and cannibalize Firebird sales. Only a handful of design studies remain, tucked away in Pontiac archives. For enthusiasts, it's a tantalizing what if. Imagine a lighter Firebird with GTO branding and Ram Air engines. Spotter's tip: prototype photos show unique hood badges never seen again. But that's not the whole story, because number 3 shows how Pontiac kept GTOs alive even when buyers walked away. Number 6. The ad campaign that backfired. In 1973, Pontiac marketing tried to reposition the GTO as more sophisticated. Ads bragged about refinement instead of raw muscle, showing young professionals instead of street racers. The problem? Buyers wanted burnout smoke, not briefcases. Sales tanked, falling below 5,000 units, a disaster compared to the six-figure heights of the late 60s. Collectors point to 73 models as rare but misunderstood, often overlooked in auctions. Spot one in original color combos like Brewster Green, and you've found an underdog. Here's the kicker. Pontiac almost pulled the plug right there. But number 2 shows how a single option package kept the badge alive longer than anyone expected. Number 5. The hatchback GTO nobody saw coming in. 1974, Pontiac dropped the bomb. The GTO was now an option on the compact Ventura. Imagine going from a wide, menacing muscle coupe to a shrunken economy car with a 350 V8. Purists were horrified. Sales hit rock bottom. Only about 7,000 units sold. Today, Ventura-based GTOs are oddities, often mocked as the GTO in name only. But here's the twist. Pristine survivors are now climbing in value because of their rarity. Spotter's tip: look for Ventura-style taillights with GTO badging, a dead giveaway. And if you thought downsizing was bad, number 1 reveals the near-death moment where the GTO almost disappeared forever. Number 4. A name almost lost in translation. Before Pontiac settled on GTO, executives toyed with other names, some hilarious in hindsight. Early documents list Grand Tempest and Tempest Super Duty. Imagine that on a dealer lot, hardly the same punch. Even Le Mans Super Tempest appeared in drafts. The decision to swipe Ferrari's GTO moniker gave the car instant cachet. Collectors today cherish early promotional material, especially if it mentions those scrapped names. It's living proof of how close we came to a very different automotive history. And here's the kicker. Pontiac almost dropped the GTO badge entirely in the mid-70s. But wait until you hear why. Number 3. Survival through stickers. By 1975, emissions rules, gas crises, and insurance hikes gutted muscle cars. The GTO name survived only as trim pieces on Pontiac Le Mans sport models. Under the hood, weak V8s barely pushing 200 horsepower. It was muscle in name only. Still, Pontiac diehards clung to the badge. Survivors of these mid-70s GTOs are cheap entry points for collectors, though purists dismiss them. Spotter's tip: look for VIN codes starting with 2D to confirm real Le Mans-based GTOS. But here's the twist. Pontiac still had one last ace up its sleeve before retiring the name. That's where number 1 rewrites the ending. Number 2. The W72. Breathing life. Back in 1977, Pontiac reintroduced the GTO spirit quietly through the Firebird Trans Am. The W72 400 V8 package, paired with a shaker hood and 4-speed manual, was essentially the performance successor. Many insiders say this was the spiritual GTO, keeping Pontiac's muscle DNA alive under a different skin. Collectors view W72 Firebirds as GTO cousins, cars that held the line until the badge was revived. Spotter's tip: W72 cars carry special carb codes 1705724, marking them as true high-output survivors. But if you thought corporate strategy was clever, wait until you see why number 1 almost never made it off the drawing board. Number 1, the GTO that almost never happened. Here's the bombshell. In 1963, Pontiac General Manager Pete Estes and engineer John DeLorean nearly canceled the GTO idea before it was born. Why? GM brass feared lawsuits, insurance wars, and a PR nightmare for selling racing engines to teenagers. Estes reportedly told DeLorean, "It'll never get approved." But DeLorean went rogue, slipping the 389 package into dealer order sheets as a simple option. No special model, no fanfare. Just a box you could check. Dealers went nuts, and 32,450 GTOs sold in the first year, far beyond expectations. That single gamble redefined the muscle car era. Collectors today know, without DeLorean's act of defiance, the muscle car boom might never have happened. That's the real legacy. The GTO wasn't born from approval. It was born from rebellion. The Pontiac GTO's story is one of rule-breaking, near-death misses and wild detours. From Ferrari's stolen name to secret engines and government test cars, the GTO wasn't just a muscle car, it was a cultural lightning bolt. Which fact blew your mind? Hollywood's Monkey Mobile, the XS engine, or the downsized Ventura GTO? Drop your thoughts below. And if you loved this ride through Pontiac history, check out our deep dives on the Chevy Chevelle SS and Dodge Charger. Until next time, remember, legends aren't built by rules. They're built by breaking them.